Let me ask you something a little uncomfortable. How is it possible that someone can earn a decent salary, work hard for 20 or 30 years, do everything they were told to do, and still end up in basically the same financial position they started in? I'm not talking about people who never try. I'm talking about people who go to work every day, people who pay their bills, people who are responsible, people who are, by all normal definitions, doing life the right way, and yet somehow, gosh, the finish line always seems to stay just a little bit out of reach. You see it everywhere. A family making $70,000 a year feels like they're barely getting by. Another family making $120,000 still feels financially stressed. And strangely enough, even households making $200,000 sometimes say the exact same thing. Where does all the money go? So what's really happening here? Is it just inflation? Is it bad luck? Is it the cost of living? Or is there something deeper, something almost invisible that quietly keeps people in the middle class even when their income increases? Because the truth is, staying middle class usually isn't about one big financial mistake. It's about a handful of patterns, small habits, financial decisions that seem perfectly normal, but over time slowly limit how far someone can climb. And honestly, I've spent way too much time thinking about this exact topic. My name's Alex, and I've always been fascinated by the psychology of money. Why some people gradually move into financial freedom, while others stay stuck in the same financial lane for decades. And once you start noticing the patterns, it becomes hard to unsee them. Because middle-class life isn't just an income level, it's a system, a cycle. And once you understand how that cycle works, you can finally start stepping outside of it. So today we're going to talk about the real reasons middle-class people stay middle-class. Not from a judgmental place, not from some unrealistic get-rich-quick perspective, but from a place of understanding. Because once you understand the system, you can start making different moves inside it. The comfort trap. Let's start with something that sounds harmless. Comfort. Middle-class life is designed to be comfortable. You have a stable job, a reliable paycheck, maybe a decent apartment or house, a car that works, food in the fridge, and honestly, that's a good thing. But comfort has a strange side effect. It reduces urgency. If someone is truly struggling, really struggling, they often feel an intense pressure to change something. They start businesses. They learn new skills. They take risks. But when life is comfortable enough, the pressure disappears. You're not desperate. You're just okay. And okay can last a very long time. Years go by, then decades. And before someone realizes it, they've spent 20 years maintaining the same financial structure without ever seriously questioning it. Comfort doesn't trap people overnight. It traps them slowly. The income upgrade illusion. Now here's something that happens almost automatically. Income goes up, and life upgrades with it. Someone gets their first serious job making $40,000. They live modestly. Then a few years later, they're earning $60,000. Suddenly a nicer apartment seems reasonable. A better car feels justified. Maybe a few more dinners out each month. Then the salary reaches $80,000. And another upgrade appears. A bigger home, better furniture, more subscriptions, better vacations. Each step feels logical, but something subtle happens. The cost of living grows at the exact same speed as income. So even though someone earns more money, yet they never feel richer. They just feel like they're maintaining a slightly nicer version of the same life. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the most powerful forces keeping people financially stuck. Because wealth isn't built by income alone. Wealth is built by the gap between income and spending. And when that gap never grows, savings never grow either. The debt normalization problem. Now let's talk about something that has become completely normal in modern middle-class life. Debt. Credit cards, car loans, student loans, mortgages. Most people don't see these as financial dangers. They see them as normal tools, and sometimes they are. But the problem begins when debt becomes permanent. Instead of being something temporary, it becomes a permanent part of life. A car loan gets paid off, and then replaced with another car loan. A credit card balance gets paid down, then quietly creeps back up. Student loans last for decades. And when debt payments become part of the monthly routine, they quietly consume money that could have been building wealth. Imagine two people with the same salary. One has $1,200 per month in debt payments. The other has none. That's a $14,000 difference every year. Over 10 years, that's $140,000, not because one person worked harder, but because one person's income was being redirected toward the past instead of the future. Debt doesn't always feel like a trap. Yes, but over long periods, it can quietly limit financial mobility. The single income mindset. Another reason many middle-class households stay middle-class is something simple but powerful. Most people rely on a single income source. One job, one paycheck, one employer. And if that paycheck stops, everything stops. This structure worked well decades ago when jobs were stable and careers lasted 30 years. But today, the economy is very different. Companies change. Industries shift. Automation appears. And relying on one income stream can make financial progress fragile. That's why many people who build significant wealth eventually develop multiple income streams. Side businesses, investments, rental income, freelance work. It doesn't always start big. Sometimes it starts with something small, $200 a month, $500 a month. But over time, those additional income streams create flexibility, and flexibility creates opportunity. Apply the social pressure loop. There's another powerful force keeping people financially stuck. Social pressure. Humans are deeply influenced by the people around them. If everyone in your circle upgrades their car every few years, that feels normal. If everyone in your neighborhood takes expensive vacations, that feels normal too. If everyone around you spends money a certain way, it becomes the default behavior. But here's the problem. Financial progress often requires temporarily stepping outside of that social pattern. Driving a car longer than others, living slightly below your means, choosing investments instead of upgrades. And that can feel uncomfortable because humans don't naturally like standing out. So many people choose social comfort over financial progress without even realizing it. Climb the time horizon problem. One of the biggest differences between the middle class and the wealthy isn't intelligence or work ethic, it's time horizon. Middle-class financial decisions often focus on the short term. Monthly budgets, next vacation, next upgrade, next purchase. But wealth is built on long time horizons. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. When someone consistently invests money over decades, something incredible happens. Compounding begins to accelerate. Money starts earning money, and eventually the growth becomes dramatic. But this process requires patience, and patience is hard in a world that constantly rewards immediate gratification. The education gap. There's also a major education gap around money. Most people are never taught how investing works. They learn how to earn money, they learn how to budget, but they rarely learn how to grow money. Things like index funds, compound interest, asset allocation. These concepts are often discovered much later in life if they're discovered at all. And every year someone waits to start investing is a year they lose to compounding. That's why financial education, even basic financial education, can dramatically change someone's trajectory. Not overnight, but gradually. Conclusion. So when people ask why the middle class often stays middle class, the answer isn't simple. It isn't just income. It isn't just inflation. It's a system of habits and structures that quietly shape financial outcomes. Comfort reduces urgency. Lifestyle inflation absorbs income. Debt consumes future earnings. Single income sources limit flexibility. Social pressure encourages spending. Short-time horizons delay investing. And financial education often arrives too late. None of these factors are dramatic on their own. But together, they form a powerful cycle. And once someone is inside that cycle, it's easy to stay there. But here's the encouraging part. Cycles can be broken. Not with extreme sacrifices, not with unrealistic get-rich-quick strategies, but with small shifts in awareness. Understanding where money actually goes. Protecting the gap between income and spending. Avoiding unnecessary debt, starting investments earlier, thinking a little further into the future. Over time, those small changes compound, and slowly, the financial path begins to bend in a different direction. Because the goal isn't to escape the middle class overnight. The goal is to create momentum, and momentum, sustained long enough, can change everything.